Children are the legacy of a community. But where are children during the day? When parents go to work, where are the children? On Austin Faith Dialogue, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about child care centers. If you love children and you're interested where they are, stay with us on Austin Faith Dialogue.
Austin Faith Dialogue, at the crossroads of religion and life. A series highlighting the cultural and social interactions between the worshiping and religious communities in and around the capital city. Austin Faith Dialogue is brought to you by the Austin Metropolitan Ministries in cooperation with KXAN. Join us now in Austin Faith Dialogue.
Thank you for being with us in Austin Faith Dialogue. I'm Carl Gronberg, host for the program. Today, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to talk about children, and we're going to talk about child care centers. Linda Ruiz is one of those people who's very much concerned about children. She's director of Buen Pastor, and she has with her one of the parents, a parent who has 2 children enrolled in Buen Pastor. We're glad to have Linda, Teresa. We're glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining us on Austin Faith Dialogue. Buen Pastor. Well, you were there at the beginning, Linda. Tell us a little bit about this place where children come in the morning to find stimulation, to find security. And Teresa, maybe you can even tell us as we go along some of the things you as a parent want for your children when they come to Buen Pastor. Tell us a little bit about it.
El Buen Pastor opens in the mornings about 7:30. We're legally open at 7:30. I arrive a little earlier at times. And I've got to tell you, Carl, that one of the nicest things that I can get up in the morning is that I always smile as I turn that corner on Holly and Waller, because there's always smiling faces that are going to arrive and receive me. I've been working there since 1975. We opened our doors on Labor Day weekend. I came with intentions of staying 3 months, and I haven't been able to leave yet. There's always a child that will warm my heart and give me convictions to staying there. I wanted to share the story. Teresa, who is my parent now, is bringing me what I consider grandchildren. I lost my identity about 3 or 4 years ago when my granddaughter came to the center and called me Grammy. So I no longer have a Mrs. Reese or Linda. It's all Grammy. And but it's so neat to have children who were there in '75 bring me their children. It's an honor.
Well, it's also a great statement about what you do at Buen Pastor, that people learn that they can believe in you and your love and care for children, because this is really what it's all about. Children are Teresa, that's a great gift you have. You and your husband, these children, 2 of them, what are their ages?
My daughter is 4, my son is 3.
And they are precious to you.
Oh, yes.
And when you, as a working mother, decide you want to be away from the home, working, for a lot of factors, a lot of reasons, you look for a place. And how did you find out about Buen Pastor?
I heard this through my mother-in-law. She had suggested it and through other friends, and so we gave them a call, and I wanted to get my daughter in there as soon as I could.
And did you tell me before the program started that there was a wait list before
Yeah, there was a wait list for my daughter, and she got in there pretty quick.
Do you live in the neighborhood around Buen Pastor?
I work around the neighborhood, but we live pretty far off in North Austin, but I want to come to this particular daycare. I want my children to be here.
Now, there are centers all around town, Linda, right?
Yes,
there are places, and some of them are for-profit, some of them are non-profit, some of them are associated with institutions, religious institutions, colleges, universities. What makes Buen Pastor, in your opinion, unique?
In my opinion, is that we've always been able to serve the need of the community. As Teresa said, that she lives north. Her husband grew up 2 blocks from the center, and his mother was one of our beginning parents. And we started serving the children in the area. And then they branched out into other communities, and they still come in to us, and I'm very fortunate to receive them. We have scale tuitions, which makes it possible for the working parent who's just getting started. When you're young and starting a family and trying to get established and trying to earn a living and provide home, provide housing and food and lodging and clothing, it's real difficult to pay.
Now, when you talk about scale tuition,
Tuitions
yeah,
is-
explain that a little bit.
That is set up for the working parent, the working mother. The majority of our parents are single mothers who could not afford to pay $500, $600 a month, which is what it costs now to take care of a child with meals.
Mm-hmm.
And we scale the tuitions. We provide 2 hot meals and a snack in the afternoon. We're accredited by the National Association of Early Childhood Programs. We're also what we call a child care management services 4-star vendor, which means that we try to give the children the very best that you would receive anywhere else.
One of the things we want to talk about in the program today is some of the ideas and observations you have and how it's changed through the years. You've been there 23 years and what things have happened. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit more to Teresa.
Okay.
All right? Your children, yeah, you get them up in the morning, what time?
Oh, they get up around 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
6:30 every morning.
And then do you drive from North Austin to the location of El Buen Pastor?
My husband or I will take the kids.
Will you have them have breakfast at home, or will they have breakfast there?
They eat breakfast at the school.
At the school. And so the breakfast is ready for them when they come.
Right.
You arrive about what time?
7:30.
Mm-hmm.
Between 7:30 and 8.
Come down I-35, is that
We
right?
fight I-35. Yeah.
That traffic down there.
And we get them
And
down
you
there.
turn out so that people who are watching Austin Faith Dialogue have an idea where El Buen Pastor is located. So you
It's
turn.
not. Yeah, it's right off of I-35. You take First Street or Cesar Chavez, and it's just right down the street.
And you arrive there, and you go in with your children.
We sign them in, and they usually take off on their own. They know exactly where to go, what to do, and what's next.
They're pretty excited about being at their
Yeah.
school.
Oh yeah, they are. They look forward to the next day. They know what's happening. Often they look forward to what's going to be served if they know. My daughter is very particular about what she gets to wear the next day. She picks out their clothes. We know what
It
they're gonna
sounds
do.
like really a positive, good experience for
It
the
is.
kids.
It is. My kids have matured. My daughter's been there for almost 2 years. My son is new
Uh-huh.
to the school, and the change in him, growing up and maturing, his language, the stories, this politeness, his manners, everything is just, it's neat to see them to do this. It's overwhelming. They grow up so quickly.
You know what I have to
It's
say,
neat.
Linda, you do a whale of a good job.
No.
Oh yeah,
No,
and
I'm
they're
just
so
one
happy.
portion.
They're happy. They look forward to it, and you drop them off, and there's not a. I'm very comfortable leaving them there. They're so comfortable. They're happy. The people there are always so nice.
Maybe, though, it says something about the home they come from,
That's
Linda,
exactly
huh?
right.
Is that right?
I
Because
think the fact that Teresa and John are open to communication with our teachers, and they have this relationship, and the children see that we are in connection, it flows, and it allows them to express themselves, allows them to have trust, and to share with their parents as well as sharing with us what's going on.
well, you're partnering. You know, you're a
That's
partner
exactly
with
right.
this couple
Yes.
and the single parents and sharing with them these exciting moments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, other people partner with you also. And we have a video that we want to show some of the
Mm-hmm.
folks who are watching Austin, all of the folks who are watching Austin Faith Dialogue. We want you to watch this because this is a very special man in our life, Reverend Rich Thompson, who comes to El Buen Pastor and volunteers. And the kids love him, and he shares his life, and he partners with you, Linda, and the staff. So let's bring up that video. This is a sign for El Buen Pastor, and it tells us a little bit about Early Childhood Development Center. And Reverend Thompson comes there regularly. He has a grandchild who's in Germany, and he wants to come, and he comes right up that walkway. Is that right?
Yes,
right
he
in
does.
that door.
Every Friday morning, he walks in with his little
Does he have a
ukulele.
with his ukulele? Does he have a smile on his face?
Oh, yes.
Ah, that's good. A Presbyterian pastor needs to be able to come in there and smile.
Well, if he doesn't have one, when he walks in the door, the children will provide one quickly.
I think
so.
they'll call that smile forward to him.
Mhm.
And he came there because he wanted to begin to interrelate with children. He missed his grandchild, being all the way over in Germany,
That's
and this
right.
was a chance to partner, as I said, with you in a ministry. All right, here we see him, and he does this little shaving thing. What does he do there?
He's going to teach the children what whiskers are. These are 2-year-olds who have no idea what whiskers are until that very moment. And see, everybody gets to touch his face. And you've got to remember, they just had breakfast. They've still got toothpaste on their hands. So he doesn't care.
Look at that smile
There he
on
goes.
Rich's face.
Now he's going to show them what this shave is going to do to him.
Ah, yeah, he's gonna show.
And
Now
they're
this
look at them, they're not even blinking. They've just been awesome with him.
they're just really captivated by what he's doing. Now this is the man who started Austin Faith Dialogue and has
That's
been
right.
the host of Austin
That's
Faith
exactly
Dialogue
right.
for all these years. And I think it's really exciting that he sees an opportunity for himself as well as for those children, and have the opportunity for them to realize, you know, some of the children maybe don't have a daddy at home who's shaving.
That's right. That was one of the things that he found so unique, is that some of the children in that classroom are coming from single moms. So they've never had the opportunity to watch a man shave.
Look at that little one
And,
putting up the hand.
this
and
one does, but this is Teresa's child.
Oh, is that your son?
That's the one touching.
Oh, that,
Look
look
how,
at you.
look how intense he is, and
Yeah.
just checking out to make sure he got all the whiskers.
He's really, really feeling.
Now he's going to teach them about shaving lotion, and he's also mentioned to the children that this is only for grown-ups,
Oh, yes.
and that grown-ups can put it on, and they can smell it in a few minutes.
So they smell good. Yeah.
Watch, I think he's going to let some of them put it on him, put it on his face.
Oh,
There it
he
is. There
does
it
really
is.
well with the children.
Oh,
Would there
yes.
be place for other people
Always,
to come and do this
always.
type of thing?
We are always looking for it. You don't have to be a retired teacher. You can be. We have older children that really need the mentoring. We have older children that need tutoring. For these teachers are not ready to just hang up their shield. They can come one day. They can come every day. They can come for an hour. They can come 2 hours. We don't discriminate. We'll take all of y'all.
So Rich
We-
Thompson comes in for, he's
He
going to
comes
play
in
his
about
ukulele.
That's right. And now he's made a song of the whiskers.
Okay, now
So-
we're going to listen to him. He's going to start singing now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about hamburgers or something. Okay. Oh, MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had a, what'd he have? Pig. E-I-E-I-O. With a oink oink here and an oink oink there. Here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Oh, MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had a duck, E-I-E-I-O. With a quack quack here and a quack quack there. Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack quack. Oh, MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Well, here we are on the playground, and he's out playing with the children.
That's your daughter.
my
Oh,
daughter.
there's your daughter. I think they love this guy.
Oh,
You know, the son
no
with his.
question.
It is really a wonderful dynamic between adult, grandparent type person coming and playing with the children. And what a benefit, you know, not just for the children, but I'm thinking, Linda, what a benefit for someone like
For him.
Rich. Yeah.
I always feel very selfish when I tell you, there's my granddaughter.
Uh-huh.
I'm always so selfish when I go
What's her name?
because her name is Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
So she is wonderful. She's the love of my life. I told her she's my very favorite firstborn grandchild. I have 2 more. But it's such a nice feeling, the warmth that they share.
Yeah, and playing together. Now watch, learning trust. Look at that. Jump into his arms and he holds
That's
on to it.
right.
Well, we're going to come back and talk some more about El Buen Pastor and maybe convince you that you might want to be a part of this ministry or a ministry like this. Stay with us on Austin Faith Dialogue. topic on Austin Faith Dialogue today. We're talking about children and their care that they receive when they leave the home with mom and dad in the morning and go to some of the child care centers throughout our community. And there are some quality child care centers. And today we're highlighting one of those, Buen Pastor. And we have two very important people who love that ministry and where their children are cared for, grandchildren as well as children. And we want to talk a little bit more about what Buen Pastor needs, what's happening, its history. We know a little bit about that from what you said, Linda, but there's also a future. Hug a child, embrace the future, right? Well, yes. The children are hugged at Buen Pastor, and there's a future for them. What are some of the exciting things that are happening at Buen Pastor?
In 1996, I can't tell one century from the other, we received a grant to build a facility for these children. We had, at the time, between 200 and 300 children on the waiting list.
My goodness.
To come in. And the ones that we were fearful of the most were children in the school ages that were being left for gangs to encourage participation. So we applied for a grant to provide services for children that are school age and as well as younger children who need to stay somewhere. What they call the Community Development Block Grant is disseminated through Austin. We got
through the City Council of
Austin?
Austin?
The City of Austin, yes. We got $1 million to build a new building.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was the good news. The bad news to the good news is that $1 million is strictly just for the building itself. It has nothing to do with operations. Our program is still nonprofit, and we're still having to beg people who need tax cuts to donate funds to the center, especially before December 31st.
Okay, so what we're saying is that Buen Pastor, like a lot of these non-profit caring for children, child care centers, in your situation received a grant of $1 million to build a facility, correct?
That's
Which
right.
you are in the process of doing. You have architectural plans and all that type of thing?
Yes, we do.
Plan to break ground when? When are you going to do something like that?
As soon as the architects get through the zoning and all of the technicalities, they're hoping that this summer, the
Summer of '99.
of '99,
Okay.
they're going to have the facility's foundation in place.
And so these parents, like Teresa and John, were saying, aha, $1 million, we got $1 million. But what you're saying is that as good as that is, and that is good news.
Yes, it is,
Boy, that's
because
wonderful.
the children will not, we are, as you saw in the video, we're in a little bitty house, and when we became accredited, we built lofts to enter into more space, and the children are happy. Children are so easy to please. They couldn't tell you the difference between a cardboard and a mansion.
That's right.
As long as the love is there, the warmth is there, they're fine. But in order for my goals, our visions as Christians, is to give our children the very best. We must expose them to the very best. And to do that, you need to have an environment.
You want to have some facilities, environment.
That's right.
But
I don't
you
want
need to
them
put
to settle for a house that has been band-aided together to keep them warm and safe.
Yeah, but I want to give some credit to you, Linda. And do you have an
No.
advisory? Yes, I do, because I've toured there. And I'm just amazed by the dynamic, the spirit. Your office sets a tone. All of those wonderful sayings. We have things like this. Kids should be seen, not hurt. And the rights of a child. The right to be a child, a right to be here on this earth, a right to be shown respect, a right to make a mistake. Ho ho, is that all right, huh? You know,
That's true.
a few adults maybe think children need to be perfect. You know, I think that's the right to a choice, a right to privacy, a right to development of your own place. You know, I think with your new facility, there'll be a little more space.
Elbow.
Yeah, some elbow room for the children. A right to be heard. And when I was there, Teresa, I heard those children, you know, they that's wonderful. They're dynamic, they're expressing their thoughts and ideas. A right for a safe environment. And I know, Linda, that's crucial for you, that the children, and of course, Teresa, for you, and a right for proper food and clothing, and a right for cleanliness. You're going to get this nice new building, but then you want to have something inside that building. So what are you saying to the people of Austin and the people of this program who are watching this program?
I would like for them to continue to do what they were doing for 21 years. You know, they would adopt a child. You don't necessarily have to pay the entire amount of their scholarship fund. Not all of our children are as fortunate as Teresa and John's children. You know, Teresa has to work. John has to work. It's understood. We all have to work if we want to provide for our children and our families. There's very few of us that grew up making choices of wanting to work. When I got married, I thought, I'm going to raise my 3 little girls, and I'm going to live happily ever after. I'm a Christian. I'm devoted to God, and things are going to work perfect. In 1975, I found myself in Austin, Texas with 3 little girls, single, not by my choice, and did not have a job until El Buen Pastor took me in and allowed me to raise my 3 little girls. So, and I wasn't counting on that. I wasn't counted on limited income and limited homes. So I know how these mothers and fathers are. And this is what our center wants to do. And it was done because someone was able to match funds on our operational budget. Churches donated funds. United Urban Council was the very first seed monies for our program. The Department of Human Services provides the children with the highest quality meals. They're cooked there every day. They're hot, fresh meals. And then we have what they call child care management services that fund some of the children and match their funds. But then you've got families that fall through the cracks, that are not poor enough to qualify for funds and yet are barely surviving to make it. So those are the ones we want to serve by. We came up with a saying earlier in the month about buy stock in a child, you know,
Right.
invest in them
that
and
sounds
have
good.
it, you know.
With the way the stock market's been going up, huh? That's good.
I think so.
Because we
too.
believe that's what's going to happen to those children.
That's right.
They have a future. And because of good foundation that you're helping to give, supporting what's going on in the home, and together we're investing in the most important stock we have, our kids, our future.
That's right.
I want to talk a little bit about what it means for you as parents to have a woman like this there directing the program. And I know she's very humble, but I really think it's important for us to say to the viewing audience, when you hear about El Buen Pastor, and you hear an invitation to be supportive to El Buen Pastor, you're supporting a program that has some history to it, has a future to it, and has a present with people like you. What does it mean for you to bring your children there and leave them when you go to work so you don't have to worry about them, Teresa?
Oh, my goodness. It's such a safe place. I know nothing was going to happen. They're going to be there all day. They're going to be safe. They're going to be fed well. The teachers are nice. They're so nice. They're welcoming. They understand. Linda does, as my kids call her Grammy. They understand when they wake up and they're just having a bad day. You know, we're rushed to get them there on time. I've got to be at work, and we take the kids and we take them. And I at least know if everything else is hectic, I know that my kids are going to have a good day. It's just one of those ways of they make you feel so relaxed.
You know what I hear you saying, Teresa, that there's stability there.
Oh,
Even
there
though
is.
they're not in the home with you during the day, because of your lifestyle choices you've made, the children are there at El Buen Pastor, and they're getting a stable foundation that they can be a part of. And that brings you some peace of mind, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Huh? So beside Linda, you know, giving some money, taking stock in a child, supporting El Buen Pastor with gifts, what about this volunteering? We saw Rich Thompson, and that brought such delight to us when we saw him with your children and your grandchild. What could people do if they want to come down and volunteer?
They could come out and volunteer and work with one of the classroom teachers, because it allows that teacher to back off and allow the children to enjoy the enrichment. We have a person that comes in on Thursdays and plays music instruments with the children. And she stays for about 30 minutes, and they love that. We'd love someone to bring their guitar or their ukulele or their voice or bring their paints in or
And they don't have to be
balloons.
professional singers,
No,
right? We
they
heard
don't.
Rich.
Oh, no. I didn't say that.
Oh, I did.
No, I think that the children will allow you the right to relax, and I think it's the best therapy.
Oh, gee, to be around kids is
that's
the
right.
greatest thing. And
That's
they
right.
laugh, and they'll put that unconditional love that they'll reach out. I'm wondering also about a spiritual component. You know, we mentioned good meals, safe environment, you know, all that type of good teachers, grandma who's there to give,
yeah.
you know, all that kind of. But what about what about this spiritual environment? Is there a spiritual component to it? It's all spirituality in my estimation, but what do you have? Do you have any type of you know, reading is so important. Could people come in and read to the children?
One of the things that I've always emphasized is because we're accredited by the National Association and we have the CCMS, even in our bylaws from the very beginning it was established that we were not going to teach religion, but that you can take a Bible scripture and role model it and talk about it and translate it into the children in a manner that they can understand and relate to. And we've offered Vacation Bible School to the children, invite the parents to allow the children to go over to the church, and that's always been so successful. We've never forced anyone to go over, and parents ask us to send them over. And
is that for a week or 2 weeks in the summertime or a few days?
sometimes it goes as many as 6 weeks. Just depends on how many churches dare to come over.
Oh, I see.
So,
various congregations
yes,
come in and
get
offer.
together.
I
think in 1990 we had as many as 6 weeks of it. Different churches would come in with different aspects of it, and it's really interesting how you can take a scripture from the Bible and implement it through role modeling in today's terms with today's lifestyle.
Did you mention also about the seminary, the Presbyterian seminary, that sometimes seminarians come over?
They come over and do 15-minute clips, either with music or a story that they'll tell the children that will take a moral development and take it home. And those things are so important. I don't allow Bible memory verses simply because that's just what they are, and I think that they're important for parents to follow up in their own religion and have the children develop
But after
that.
all, these parents have to do something in this whole process, right, Teresa? That
We
this
just
is
invite
really
them
shared.
to continue to take them to church of their choice and to worship in the manner that they are more comfortable with.
You're not trying to teach a
That's
particular
right.
doctrine or
That's
theology,
right.
that type of thing.
You know, we're in a Presbyterian environment. I'm Baptist by religion. The majority of our children are Catholic. So we
nice
don't,
ecumenical background. That's a nice flavor to it, isn't it? Yeah, I like that.
So we don't do, as I said, the religious part, because then we spend a lot of time debating our values, and we don't.
Well,
the
thank
children
you.
don't have time for that.
You've been great.
Thank you
Really,
very much.
this has been a fun program for me, and I hope that those watching Austin Faith Dialogue have enjoyed it as much as I have. There's one who said a long time ago, let the little children come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of God. Children are the gift of God to all of us, and we need one another in this process of helping our children grow into the fullness of what God intends for them. We hope that you'll consider El Buen Pastor and the other child care centers that are in your neighborhood and in our community. Pray for them, offer your time, and as Linda would want me to say, if you have an extra financial gift, you might remember El Buen Pastor. Thanks so much for being with us on Austin Faith Dialogue. See us again next week.